Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talking Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at some fully trimmed front seats for the MGA models. These specific seats with the horseshoe design on both the cushion and the backrest. So this design here is commonly referred to as the deluxe style seats or the competition deluxe style seats, and they were fitted to some of the MGA Roadsters and some of the MGA Coupe models, but not all of them. They were seen as somewhat an optional upgrade from the factory. Just to refer to this in the book, we've got an MGA Coupe here with these particular seats fitted. So they're the deluxe style seats with the horseshoe there. And in fact, you can see mentioned there. Then we've got a couple of Roadsters with the exact same designed horseshoe ones there. And again, mentions their deluxe style seats. However, if we look at the Roadsters, the majority of the Roadsters left with the Roadster style seats, which had these top to bottom vertical pleats front to back with no horseshoe elements as per these photos here, and the coupes left with the left to right horizontal pleats in the majority of the cars. So it's seen as an optional upgrade from the factory to have these deluxe style seats, and that's what we're discussing with these ones here. Right, before I dive in, worth checking out the description below. There'll be lots of information on these particular seats and seat covers, as well as links to our website of where to buy these items here. Also some links to some other useful videos related to other MGA products and these seats. So I did a video before trimming these up of the actual seat covers, so worth checking that out. And there's also some links on there to our materials and colours library, which is a great resource for picking the right materials and trim colour guide for your restoration. And then there's also going to be some links on there to our blog handbook area, which is a great resource on our website to see the processes and the technologies that we use to make all of our kits. We're very proud of the way we do things. We don't think anyone matches us in the industry in that regard, and this is a way of showcasing that. So it's worth checking out. We're known worldwide for our quality and workmanship, and some of these articles give a bit of a deep dive, informative look at why and how we do some of these things, which sets us apart from the competition. So be sure to check that out. Now, specifically, these seats here have been done in maroon, full leather, and it's been done in our kind of smooth finish leather. We can also offer a grained version of leather as well as Connolly Vomel. Again, links below detailing the differences between those leather options there. Now, with our seat covers, we offer a 3-tier option. You have at one end of the scale, you have everything in vinyl. At the other end of the scale, you have everything in leather, as per these seats here. Then the middle ground option is what we refer to as leather-faced, meaning that the facings of the seats are in leather, and the sort of back panels and the surrounds and retainers are vinyl. That particular spec was commonly the original specification from the factory, so OEM specification is leather-faced. Worth noting at this stage, a bit of a confusing one. A lot of people in the industry refer to leather-faced as simply leather, which can be a little bit confusing because that can often be assumed that everything on the seat is leather. But more often than not, when someone's referring to leather as a seat, they mean leather-faced. Not to be confused with this, which is full leather, i.e. there is no vinyl elements to it. So always worth keeping that in mind. We try to be as transparent as possible, but it can be a little bit confusing because others in the industry, should we say, are a bit vaguer on options and details like that, which we don't like to be. So yeah, these are full leather. With all of our seat options, our piping is always leather cloth, where colours permit, which is the majority of them. And again, worth checking out our blog handbook article on why leather cloth piping is correct, not only for this era, but also for the way seats are made. You do not want piping in vinyl if possible. Again, it's one of those areas that a lot of other suppliers don't even bother with. They just use vinyl for piping because it means they don't have to stock another material, i.e. leather cloth. I won't go too much into it, but it's worth noting this, and it's definitely a reason why our products are superior, or one of the many reasons. Anyway, this particular set of seats, this customer has gone for a full leather set of interior trim panels, and thus these are the seats to match those. So even his door cards, etc., are all in leather. It's going to be a fantastic restoration. He's got an MGA Coupe, and his car had the original MGA Coupe seats, so he's upgraded to these deluxe style seats. What he's done is he's actually sourced the frames himself from one of the aftermarket wholesalers out there and sent them to us, and then we've done the rest. So we've manufactured the seat covers, as you can see, and then we've trimmed them up using new foams, webbings, tacking strips. Both of those items there's an abundance of, which I'll give a sneak preview of in a second, then fully trim them up. These seats are a bit of a pain to trim. Not for the faint of heart. Even professional trimmers would struggle with them. They are semi-handed as well. So you'll see here, this is the orientation in the car. Obviously, that's the right-hand seat, if you were stood or sat rather in the car like this. So right-hand seat, left-hand seat. And they are handed in that regard. What you'll see, if you look head-on them, is you have this sharper outside element on both the seats, and it's a bit rounder and fatter on the inside. That is correct. That is for the hood frame to pass by and avoid during the erection and retraction process of the hood frame metalwork, so it doesn't hit the side of the seats. So that's a very common feature of cars of this era. In fact, the Roadster seat frames were exactly the same, where they went a bit sharper on the outside of the seat frame. So it's worth bearing that in mind. And then the bases themselves are also handed. It's all to do with this cutaway here, which obviously allows for the gearbox to get fatter as you go to the front. So if you imagine here, the seat frame is effectively going in like that and in like that to allow for the gearbox to be sat in between there. So the covers on the cushion bases are handed as well to allow for that. You can see on the inside pleats there, it takes a bit of a sharper angle as it goes in. And a dead giveaway on the cushion bases here is this French seam on the inside, which is a very common look on a lot of cars like this. For a leather face set of seats, i.e. the original spec set of seats, this surround here would be leather, but then it would change to vinyl after that seam there. Worth checking out the link below is that we've done a set of OEM spec of these seats earlier this year for a customer over in America. So that's a great resource there to see exactly what will be leather and vinyl for the OEM specifications. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, as you can see, really nice job. Like I say, they are tricky seats to do. The backrests on these, if I just slant this forward, are very hard. They have a millable panel on them, which gets piping sewn onto it with a wide seam there, and there's a tacking strip underneath all of that there. So basically you get the tacks in between the piping and the board, and you tack it all the way in there. Very tricky, and in fact you'll notice on a lot of original seats you'll see a lot of the tacks sticking out here, but as you can see on ours you don't see any of them because we hide them very well. But yeah, tricky seat to do. The bases at the back here are rather unique as well. The retainer gets slits put in them for the webbing clips to go into the back of the frame, and then this back element of the frame here is trimmed completely separately. If I tilt that forward there, even that element there is trimmed in leather on these seats here. So all of this section here on the surround here, you can see the tacks, the tacking strips there is all tacked around there. The underside here is also tacked. Anyway, you can see the staples, it means it's been tacked. So yeah, and obviously the cross section webbing, and in fact underneath there's a load of webbing behind that panel there. So they're very webbing heavy and very tack heavy on these seats. But yeah, as you can see, very nice job, not for the faint of heart. And just to close off this video here, that's what I want to touch on. One of the main reasons I do this YouTube video, obviously, is to showcase the quality and workmanship of our products. I don't really see anyone else doing it to the level that we do, if at all, which I think speaks volumes. We're more than happy to show and prove, should we say, our products, the quality, the fitment, etc. And I do this as a benchmark, basically. So either yourself as a enthusiastic hobbyist wanting to trim up, or even professional trimmers, I do this video in this video channel to show them that our seat covers fit and all of our other parts fit and are well made, etc. You get a lot of naysayers in the industry that say that pre-manufactured kits simply don't work, and unfortunately that's because there's a load of suppliers out there that aren't very good at what they do. We are not them. We are one of the only suppliers in the world with the cars that we do that is really well known for our quality and workmanship, and we stand by our products. Like I say, it's worth checking out the blog handbook post because there's articles on the technology, i.e. the CNC machine that we use here, which cuts absolutely everything that we do, including leather. Very cool machine. and we sew by a notch system, meaning it's very hard. It's effectively colour by numbers. It's very hard for our machinists to make a mistake. Then we have obviously our quality checking and quality assurance processes. So we stand by our products. Very, very rare for us to make a mistake, which means that basically when you're getting your products fitted, if you're coming across an issue as to why it can't be fitted properly, a lot of times professional trimmers will immediately turn around and say, oh no, they've provided this wrong, or this, that and the other. And it's might be true for other suppliers, but really it's rarely true with us. And this is why I've done these videos, to go, look, this is what they should be looking like. We've used the exact same kit that you've got at your end, so just keep that in mind. And obviously we're more than happy to help either yourself or a professional trimmer in getting the results like this. But this is why I do this video, to show and prove that this is how they're done. All of our standardization in the manufacture has been put in place for years now, and thus it's very hard for us to make a mistake. Therefore, if you are having an issue at your end, it's probably just down to a bit of experience and guidance that we can give you to make sure that you get those results that you deserve in the car, and i.e. the results that you are seeing in front of you here in these videos. So that is the main reason I do these YouTube videos. Anyway, enough on that. Sorry, I think I went on a bit there, but yeah, very passionate about what we do, and don't want people to think that we are like all the other suppliers out there who really don't care too much about quality and workmanship. We do. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.